Hello, everyone. This is your asynchronous lesson for Tuesday, September 10th. Okay, so welcome to English 9. It is Tuesday, September 10th. Today we are finishing up our Unit 1, Lesson 3, Narrative Arc and Central Idea, the Oasis, Africa. So the warm-up is, in your own words, what is an oasis? Okay, in your own words, what is an oasis? So you can jot that down on a piece of paper or in a Word document in your notes, or just think about to yourself, what is an oasis? Without looking it up, just think about, what is an oasis? All right, and we have a picture of an oasis here on the board. So it is some kind of body of water, whether it's a small body of water or a larger body of water, with some kind of vegetation, some kind of grass, trees, bushes, and that provide shade. There might be other things like tents set up that people have set up, or little shops for supplies if people live there or work there near the oasis. Okay, so you can get water, you can get some shade. Here's our PBIS matrix. Here's our Engagely tools and functions. Here's our calendar for this week. So Monday the 9th, we started Unit 1, Lesson 3. Today we are finishing up Lesson 3. And tomorrow, everyone's meeting with their advisory teacher in the morning, and then asynchronous in the afternoon. Thursday and Friday, the 12th and the 13th, we're working in Unit 1, Lesson 4. Friday, we will take the 1.04 quiz, and the 1.04 quiz is due on September 13th. So Unit 1, Lesson 3, Learning Intention, I will learn about central idea. Success criteria, I can name the central idea of the Oasis Africa story. I can find specific details that shows the central idea of the text, the Oasis Africa. Okay, here's our standards. Get ready to analyze a short story. There we have another picture of an oasis. Today's plan, you can watch the Unit 1 help video if you need to. And the Unit 1 online lesson, 1.03, Narrative Arc and Central Idea, the Oasis Africa. So our guided lesson, we're going to do our story summary, we'll watch a video, we'll talk about some key concepts, and then we'll do a practice activity. So here's the story that we read yesterday. The Oasis Africa read aloud was 7 minutes long, and the textbook link, the story starts in our textbook on page 206. So read that or listen to it if you haven't yet. And you can pause this video if you need to do that. Here's our story summary. The Oasis Africa is a non-fiction narrative that takes place in the Sahara Desert. The narrator and his companions are soldiers during World War I. They walk through the hot and dry desert for 8 days, losing 2 days to a sandstorm and avoiding bandits. The narrator is tired and thirsty and begins to worry that his traveling associates are going to hurt him because he has water and money. The guide sees the oasis, and they are able to rest, drink, and eat. The narrator falls asleep in his tent at the oasis looking at the stars. The central idea or theme of the story is that the forces of nature can prove to be a deadly and relentless power against humans. So we're going to watch a video about how does an oasis form.
This is Siwa. It's a crowded place with bustling markets and around 33,000 people. Here you can find farms which grow things like dates and olives, and trees grow as far as the eye can see. Siwa has been permanently inhabited since the 10th millennium BCE, or for roughly 12,000 years. The city contains several archaeological sites and is even the site of an oracle temple for the Egyptian deity Amun. What's odd about Siwa is that it's located here, completely isolated in the Egyptian portion of the Sahara Desert. The nearest big city is 460 kilometers away in Alexandria, and the ocean at its closest is 260 kilometers away. This deep in the desert, Siwa receives only 9 inches of rainfall a year, and temperatures in the summer have reached a blistering 118.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Just outside the limits of Siwa, tremendous and imposing sand dunes linger, constantly threatening to advance. So, how can a place so deep in the desert be so rich with people, vegetation, and history? Well, as it turns out, Siwa isn't just a city, but rather an oasis, a fertile patch in an otherwise endlessly barren land. But what exactly is an oasis, and how do they form? In the past, desert oases have served a crucial role in trade and travel as hospitable stopping points wedged between vast expanses of sand and stone. In places like Siwa, merchants and traders could rest, resupply, and most importantly, refill their water skins. Most oases will have freshwater springs or ponds above the surface, open to the air, and this is what allows both people and plants to inhabit the area. But a look from above reveals no river or even stream feeding into these ponds, and as I mentioned earlier, areas like this receive little to no rainfall annually. So where does this life-giving water come from then? Let's keep using Siwa as an example. While this land may receive just a few inches of rainfall a year, over a big enough area, a couple inches can add up to a huge amount of water. And you'll typically find an oasis at a low point in the desert. A look at an elevation map shows the Siwa oasis to be right in the middle of a depression beside the larger Qatar depression. In fact, most of the Siwa oasis lies at roughly 19 meters below sea level. So the Siwa and other oases are essentially funnels for all water from surrounding areas to flow into. But again, there aren't any rivers or streams on the surface to bring water to these places, so how does it get there? Well, beneath the surface of all land is an area where rainwater collects. We call this an aquifer. If it rains a lot, the upper reaches of the aquifer, called the water table, will rise. If it rains very little, the water table will drop. It's by taking advantage of underground aquifers that things like wells and irrigation systems work. Naturally, where the elevation of the earth is higher, so too will the water table be. So, if you have areas of high elevation like towering sand dunes or hills, directly next to areas of low elevation like a depression, you can get spots like this where the water table nears or even exceeds the surface. At these places, water will seep from the ground and pool into bodies of water. Where there's water, there's life, and while most desert plants are short and dense, under the right conditions, they too can grow to be tall and lush. And there you have it, an oasis is formed. It helps to know also that the water table can be further altered by impermeable layers in the soil, such as rocks or dense layers of clay called hardpans. Because water cannot pass through these substances, its only choice is to move the water table upwards, and this can be another factor in bringing water to the surface, even if there's no depression. And that's all an oasis is. Light rains from a large enough area can flow through an underground aquifer, pulled by gravity, forming basically an underground river. Eventually, Eventually, plants and animals will find these upwellings of water and grow to create a miniature ecosystem, a microcosm of rich life in an otherwise devoid desert. And if conditions remain quote-unquote favorable, an oasis can exist for thousands of years, virtually unchanged. In fact, in 2007, in the Siwa Oasis, an early hominid footprint was discovered fossilized in the rocks, with estimates for its age ranging as far back as 3 million years, illustrating just how long an oasis can remain intact while completely isolated from the outside world. Thanks for watching. I hope your curiosity is satisfied, but if not, I've got some more videos you can watch as well. Like always, if you enjoyed, please give this video a like, and if you want to keep seeing more videos like this, subscribe. I'll be back next week with another video. Thanks.
All right, so that was an interesting video about how oases or oasi, I'm not sure, form. I know it's kind of more of a social studies or sciencey video, but it does help us understand what was going on in the story that we read, because remember that our text is a true story. So real people, real places, real events. So the video within the context of the story, could the people in the text have found the oasis in the video, the city of Siwa? Well, yes, it is possible, right? It is possible. The people in the story, the real people, could have found the real place, Siwa, in the Sahara Desert. The place in the video. So it's possible. So that's interesting that that might have been the actual oasis that they found in the story. So here's our key concept here. Central idea. To identify a central idea in a text, readers look at the many details. Based on the evidence and clues from the text, they draw an inference. So if we look at the details here of the story, sand everywhere, even blowing, lack of water to drink, hot, relentless sun, absence of food, crawling lice, yuck. The central idea of the text is nature is often harsh and unforgiving. Okay. Sand blowing everywhere, lack of water, hot, relentless sun, absence of food, crawling lice. Nature is often harsh and unforgiving. So we can say that that is the central idea of the story. So if we take that central idea, nature is often harsh and unforgiving, we can look for details in the story text that supports that central idea. So let's practice. You're going to highlight details that support the central idea. So we're looking for things that show, we're looking for supporting details in the text that shows that nature is often harsh and unforgiving. So again, take a moment now just to kind of look for those details, those supporting details. Let's see if you can find some of them. All right, and if you need more time, you can pause the video and continue doing this. So let's take a look and see if we can find some supporting details for this central idea. Nature is often harsh and unforgiving. So we have here burning desert. We have sand, sand, and always sand, hills of sand, valleys of sand, paths of sand, right? We have sand in the food, sand in the water, okay? It's in your mouth, your nose, your eyes, okay? Swarming lice, okay? The dreaded Sirocco, okay? Fiery sandstorm, drifting sand, okay? And then we have the heat. The blazing sun. Okay. There's heat. Okay. So now if we look at all of these details here, burning desert, sand everywhere, swarming lice, Sirocco, sandstorm, heat, drifting sand, blazing sun, right? That really does show us that the central idea of the story here is that nature is often harsh and unforgiving. All right. So success criteria, how did we do? I can name the central idea of the Oasis Africa story, and I can find specific details that show the central idea of the text, the Oasis Africa. All right, good job with that for today. Today's tasks and homework. Unit 1, Lesson 3. Please review the online lesson if you need more practice. Okay, have a terrific Tuesday. Bye, everyone.